Hello, everyone. My name is Dizzy. I am the developer builder of Project Rend, a new companion app for the tower. This has been a absolute labor of love for the past, I don't know, 2 3 months now. I started working on this in I think early March. Um, in that time, I have built quite a bit, but I'm definitely nowhere near being done. But what I really wanted was to build a app that was cohesive, that I didn't have to do really tedious data entry, where all the stuff that I put into it felt like it was helping me understand all the things that I added to it next, all the, different features about my tower that I wanted to understand better. And up till this point, that hasn't existed, and I decided that I did not want to wait around for someone else to do what I knew I was capable of doing. So I started working on Project Rend. I thought the name would be fun, considering we all how we all feel about Rend. So I wanted to make Rend useful, at least for once. The app itself does quite a bit in terms of helping you record stuff, and then visualization. I've got a lot of ideas, places I want to go, things I have not done yet around understanding the contributions of your various coin income generators and your damage makers, especially for those people who are in late game and close to the glass cannon build. I am definitely not one of those people, at least not yet. I only just got into Legends this morning, or I guess last night when we closed out this most recent tournament. So what I have sought to build so far, what we've done is still kind of very what I would consider basic. It's There's definitely a lot of polish that I still want to do, but every time I turn around when I'm testing it, because I've been dogfooding on this app for since at least it's been stable, which has been quite a while now. I keep finding new little things that I want to tweak and change. So I expect that the community will have a lot of that feedback and thoughts, and I am extremely interested and open to having them. This app is going to be free. I want to make that clear at the outset here that I don't have any interest in collecting money from people. Everyone else in this community builds stuff out of the goodness of their heart, and I will do the same. Um, I will probably accept donations, assuming that server costs are not going to be zero, and I don't want to go broke doing this. But app will be fully free. I don't really want to make. So what we've got here, obviously I've got my tower running, so you have something to look at while I talk. But over on the left we've got Project Rend. When you first log in, I will, if I assume I do some kind of login page, I'll have you log in. I'm not sure if we're going to do that yet, but then you've kind of got your stats for the last week. I believe that prior 7 days is probably an interesting and helpful metric. I might do past like 10 runs or something, so that's not sensitive to forgetting to put data in. But I haven't done that yet, and this was relatively easy to change in case I do. Moving down your quick actions. So if you want to add a new run, we'll get to this in a minute, but you can drag and drop a screenshot of an end of run screen, and then it will at least pull these things. I've got a lot of plans, as mentioned before, about building out stats for your other contributors, and then so you can figure out what you should be spending your investment time into. But if you put a tournament in here, it will automatically kind of move over and then ask for some more things. I'll show you that in a minute. Another thing that people have really mentioned to me is that they are really tired of putting stuff into 4 different applications. You've got your effective path spreadsheet, and other different web-based tools that members of the community like Sky have built, and they just don't want to do it again, and I get it. So I haven't built them fully out yet, but I've got different little things that I think I want to be able to pull in here. I don't know how to process user data.dat. If someone knows how to do this, please get in touch with me, because I have no idea what I'm doing. I've tried to do it, and there's something that I'm just not getting yet, so I'm very open and interested to hearing more. And then other spreadsheets that you can kind of just drop in. I've got some documentation I got to make here still, and the actual parsing needs to be done as well. But you've got your farming dashboard, which is the same thing that's in here, and then the settings page, which will just kind of give you a link to your own data set. And then the relic sheet. So all of this is manual entry right now. It's very easy to do. So let's see, super quick, hold it down. It just keeps adding up. I'm gonna go back to 4. But the data that are in here do contribute to the information that is happening elsewhere in the application. A lot of the stuff like in Workshop isn't done yet. It's not even worth showing yet because it's just an empty shell that just has like baseline data in it. But these will have meaning and will help you kind of figure out what you need to do and where you are cohesively as you go. So let's go to the dashboard. So when you get here, this is kind of the landing page for it. I've been in the app, so I've got some things kind of already done. So usually it would be all tiers selected and rolling would be off. So this is like what my raw data looks like since the end of March. If you roll over, you can kind of get a sense for what was happening in there, and then if you wrote any notes to yourself, for example, I ran NVM for the first time and I forgot to ban something, and you can see in my coin or my sell income that was not a good idea. But I wanted to, at least have, the most important information available to you. And then if you wanted, you can also kind of smooth it out. And then maybe you just want to look at the tier that you farm the most or are farming recently. And these are the 3 that I've been farming on or trying to experiment, like which one of these makes the most sense. So that's what I've been collecting data on. You can also change like how wide you want that kind of smoother to be. And really get a sense for what the direction of things are. For me, everything looks pretty healthy. We are definitely making progress on a day-to-day basis. Similarly, this is your total income of the 2 major income types per run. I might add reroll shards in here, but because they're so small in terms of count, it may not be meaningful to put them in a chart like this. So we'll have to see about if visualization makes sense, what that looks like. But I'm open to feedback if people really want that. Rolling comparison. So this is like, your most recent 15 runs versus the prior 15 runs. I think everyone knows about the recent fetch, up and down that we went through, and we're seeing it in the numbers here. I'm also farming a different tier than I used to, so I'm definitely seeing fewer waves overall. So that's like, I don't know if this is a meaningful metric, but these definitely are, so I want to keep them around. Then your run history, so this similarly has all of your different runs, and if you select stuff in here, the charts above will reflect that. So let me turn you back off, and then if you look, everything kind of gets restored. Let me turn I don't think the smoothing works if you only select a few of these down here. I automatically don't look at quit runs, but if you want to include them, you can. But your died by or your died to will be quit if you end the run early and you still add it to your tracking. But I figured that was not meaningful information to compute your coins per hour. If it is to you, please uncheck. So let me demo quickly throwing in a new run. So let me grab a screenshot from my folder here and we'll just drop it in. I upgraded the OCR this morning and I'm very happy with the results. It's incredibly fast now. It is still a little error prone. I need to do a little bit more work. Like this is probably S, but it read it as a 5. If I had left it in there, it gets mad. So at least, we have enough error checking to keep you from making a mistake. You still need to put the timestamp in unless you do it right away, but it will input it as GMT, so you need to adjust it for your own time zone. If you drop in a tournament run, it will automatically select tournament and it will fill in whichever tier you're operating in right now. So let me add this. Let's see, today is the 18th and it is 10 p.m. So let me do you, and we'll add the run, and here it is at the top. If you're like, hey, I don't need that, or I need to update it, very easy just to go in and kind of update and add, but I'm going to delete it because I don't need that. It actually just soft deletes, so everything is kind of still in your backing data set if you want to keep it. I might get rid of this, but I think this is best from a safety standpoint, so I've just left it in. It will automatically filter out anything that's marked as deleted, but it will still kind of be back there in this very big monolithic JSON file that I've built. So then I also really thought, like, I care about my averages on a per tier basis, but I don't really care about old runs, so I just did like what's the most recent 10. I might add the ability to kind of change this around to 5 or something else like that, or 15 if that matters to you, but I haven't gone that yet. It shouldn't take me too long if people really want that, but it will tell you what you're actually averaging across. So like tier 12, I've only done a few, but these I've definitely got a fair amount of run history in here, so these are the ones that I've actually got like rich enough data for. I'm also experimenting with trying to recommend what your actual best tier is based on a relatively simplistic, if arbitrary, scoring system. All of that is kind of housed in here. So recent coin history, or your coins per hour, etc., is done on a weighted scale, and then it looks at your most hidden recent runs much more heavily than it does on all the runs prior to that. And so it kind of gives us this kind of system for, okay, tier 9 is your second best, tier 8 is your third. I haven't farmed tier 11 very much, so I'm trying to pull some more data into it to see if that actually changes, the way that this is built. But I need to do the farming to get the data. Moving down, tournament. I really don't think we've got good visualization for tournament history, and so this is what I've built so far. Obviously, you can tell which tier you're working on, and then so your bars are your wave height or depth or whatever, and then the lines, of course, are the rank that you achieved during that tournament. So for me, I most recently got a 4th place finally in champs, probably to no small feat from my now mythic plus galaxy compressor. And so these lateral lines make it easy to tell, like, did you demote that round or did you promote? But if you want, you can always turn them off if they, bother you. For run tiers, if you want to just look at, just the specific run, we can very easily edit this. Right now, these don't work the same way with regard to, just checking off a couple things and having them work up here. That is a bug. I'll need to update that, but that is, it's not breaking, so I'm not as focused on getting that working as I am on some of the other features that we're trying to figure out here. Similar, so this will look at your per tournament averages, but it's reading from here, so it's going to show you just those. If I put everything back, then we can see, like, here's, how it's been going. I think this is broadly across all of your tournaments. I probably should also update this to most like recent 5 or whatever, like I have up here, but again, haven't done that yet. Workshop, this is totally a shell. Don't bother about what's in here yet. We're not ready to do anything with this. I've got a lot of work to do. If anyone has a source of data for how much each tier or each level costs for each workshop, I'd be very interested in having that as a data set. I found a bunch of stuff for labs on GitHub, but it was 3 years old, so there's a lot of labs missing, as you're going to see pretty soon. And there's basically nothing for workshops, so I'm probably going to have to make a fair amount of it by hand, which I'm not looking forward to, which is why it's not done yet. So if the source exists out there, it looks like this run's about to end, then we can absolutely, I'll speed up that process. For labs, and run is over. So we get a chance to add a new run here. How's that for timing? So more stats. Let me take a screenshot real quick. And let us do this off screen. Let me save it. Save. Silence. Give me one moment. What is today? Today's the 18th. Great. All right, let's see how we did. So we can see, here's my run stat. And then let's pull up. Doesn't matter. Let's see how accurate this is. Okay, still this S bug here, but everything else looks really good. The only thing left to do is to make you 10 p.m. on the 18th, and we're done. And there's my new run. It looks like might be worth doing. I've got to collect more data. Cells look interesting. Back to labs. There's a lot of stuff missing from the data set that I've been working on, so I've got to hand make a lot of this. But otherwise, this works the way you'd expect. Your kind of speed boost here based on like your baseline cell boost will change everything in here. If you use your lab speed, if you update this, I give this little purple border so that you can see more easily. changing this value will change all of the rest of the values. You can similarly set a target for what you want to do. I actually don't care about starting cache, so we're going to leave it there. And then it will kind of dynamically hide or show your targets based on what you want. So lab speed, let's say that we want that to 99. Actually, I think there's a bug here because there shouldn't be these two levels. We'll get that fixed probably tomorrow. But shows you how long it's going to take in days based on your current lab speed, and then what's it going to cost. And then this is your actual percentage based on the duration that you've only been through. So it's crazy to see that I'm at level 76 and it's only 45% of the way there. We're not even in the final stretch of lab speed yet, but I'm going to leave that thing running until it dies. Similarly, if you want to hide your maxes out, very easy to do. Or if you want to just hide whole sections, that also works as well. I'm missing data from the data set that I got from GitHub for module labs, which is why it's empty. And I put the names in, but it's still looking for more data that isn't there yet. So that's why these are empty. Again, I have to do this by hand, so it's not been the greatest of priorities, but it is very high on the list. So that will be probably in the next update video. Card tracker. I thought that the card tracker that we've already had from what Sky built was perfect, so I basically just replicated it in here and made it, useful. Once the card tracker labs are built and ready, they will render in here. That shouldn't be very difficult for me to do, but that is not done yet. So, one has to happen before the other, but it works the exact same way that we are used to, per tier. So let me go down to my purples since those aren't done yet, and then whatever you set them to, the bar will move with it. And then if you max it out, you get your mastery unlock slider. And then I should probably make it so that the labs are a little bit more exposed when you do something like this, but that's going to be a nice to have. Then it will be something super urgent. It's got the description for what your masteries will do, how much things cost, and then what the effects are in these nice little menus here. So that is the tour of Project Rend as it stands today. If anyone has any thoughts or feedback or things that they really want and don't see, I'm very interested in hearing about it. The other thing that people have asked for that I haven't mentioned yet is something that I'm calling imposter mode. So that is, can you download quickly or pull quickly all of your data from here and send it to another person via a DM or share it via the Discord? I don't know. I haven't really figured that out yet. And then so that they can pull your file in and then kind of look at everything about your tower in probably a single screen view. Maybe it won't have run history, but it probably will have your stats of your different workshop or your labs or whatever, so that people can very easily give advice without having to go through painstakingly be like, okay, scroll up now, scroll down, let me see where your damage labs are or your attack labs. So that's something that people really want. I want to make sure that we do that in a very secure way. Again, do not want to run afoul of terms of service. I want this to be something that's useful, not a detriment. So be on the lookout for that. I want to make sure that that's okay to do, and then I will start building on it. I think I've basically got it all figured out. I just need to implement it. Other things are taking into account, your combat and your utility information. So if you took a screenshot of this screen right here, can we do stuff with this data over time and then give you like some kind of chart for what kind of metrics your various damage contributors are doing? I probably won't look to include black hole damage at the very least, and maybe poison swamp, I don't know, just so that we know, because this one scales based on your tier, so this is not meaningful information, so I probably won't do that. But there are other weapons that is meaningful, and death rate too, similar story. I want to make sure that these data make sense, and then it'll probably be ultimate weapon based and projectile, of course, so that what you're doing and where your trend lines are, and then that will be very much in like the kind of run calculator area. Similarly, what your contributions from each of your various coin contributors are, what the trends are there, and all that still needs to be built, but I do think that will be super valuable and definitely something that we don't have yet. So be on the lookout for that. That is something that I think I can do relatively quickly. I just, again, have not built it yet, but it's definitely on the radar. I probably will do something for bots as well, so maybe grab a third screenshot from down here and get the coin contributions from your Guardian and your bot, and then your damage, of course, as well. But those things are on the roadmap and definitely not ready for me to show you yet. I hope within the next few weeks those are ready to show and see, and then we can work on new features. Short of that, that is all I've got to show for you today. If you have anything that you want to see, I'm more than happy to make that discussion. I will probably drop a link to the Discord that I stood up for this. It is empty, there's nobody in there but me, but I would like to make it at least an active place for conversation moving forward. Thank you for your attention. Talk soon. Bye.